All right, so we're back here on another team preview. We're continuing our ninth annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview, and we're heading a little west. We're going with talking about the Seattle Seahawks tonight. Got our guy Dylan from the On and Off the Field podcast. What's going on, man?
Oh, I'm still muted. What's up, man?
Not much.
I started talking. I'm like, it does sounds weird. No, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a while. Always good. Always good to catch up. But yeah, so we definitely got to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. What a very interesting offseason this has been. So I just want your thoughts on the offseason, recapping it. Also, what you feel as though your team's biggest acquisition.
It's been probably one of the most eventful off seasons since acquiring Russell Wilson in the draft. Because then at least then, there's competition in the preseason, and then, Russell Wilson kind of takes over, and then everything snowballs from there. But now that he's gone, obviously the big move in Seattle that everyone knows about. He's over there in Denver now, and I'm just left here crying into my pillow. And I digress. Outside of that, the team's pretty much stayed intact. I mean, you look around, and it's a lot of familiar faces still. Bobby Wagner's gone on defense. It seems like the QBs of the offense and the defense are gone. Outside of that, this team is still very much intact. But how much skill is really there? As we saw last season, didn't even get a winning record when we had Russell and Bobby. There's no reason to believe that this team is going to be any good anymore, at least until there's some kind of massive change, whether that's to the coaching position, higher up in the front office, John Schneider, people like that. They managed to acquire nobody. I don't know what the team's biggest acquisition. I had to think pretty long and hard about it, and I really had to go with Kenneth Walker in the draft. That's their biggest acquisition, is just someone they drafted. Like, yeah, he's got great potential. We lose Chris Carson due to his neck injury. Yeah, so we replaced him with this possibly really good running back out of college. Fantastic, right? You can tell that I'm just thrilled.
Hey, this it's all good. Trust me. I know how it feels sometimes. Yep.
I see the Washington gear. I know how he is.
Oh yeah.
You got someone part of your squad going in front of Congress. Like, that's not usually how football teams go.
Yeah, that's yes, indeed, right about that. So, Dylan, what is the biggest storyline heading to this season?
Are they gonna tank? Are they just gonna do it? I just want to see if they're gonna fall flat on their face and if they're gonna do it on purpose. How hard are they just gonna go all in to try and turn this around as fast as possible? Do they just land on their face, suck it in for one season? Everyone knows they're already gonna suck. Maybe Pete gets to keep his job. Highly unlikely, especially if they don't even get to like 5 wins. But they aim for a top 3 draft pick and try and replace Russell next year. I mean, that's the best story I got here. Maybe they tank and they get a quarterback out of the draft. That's as good as it's going to get for these guys right now. There ain't no Cinderella story waiting to happen here. There's nothing.
Yeah, and you got a pretty good, robust 2023 quarterback class. So hopefully, you guys will be able to take advantage of that good marketplace that we got coming up.
There's usually at least one in there. If you pick the right one, it's kind of like the Josh Allen draft. You had Rosen and Mayfield. You had all these guys, and you just had to pick the right one because the rest sucked. And then there was Josh Allen, who's like really good.
Right.
That might be subjective to some people, but in my opinion, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, what is your outlook on this offense?
It's really unfortunate, in all seriousness, that we just got done paying DK Metcalf, who has the kind of potential with proper coaching and a proper offense around him, who could bloom into someone amazing, like almost top 5 in the league kind of potential, if he just, cared enough. But what's there to care about on this team right now? I mean, maybe this underdog mentality, great, but it's only going to get you so far when you got Drew Lock or Geno Smith throwing the ball. Tyler Lockett on the other side, he's on the downside of his career, and he's been reduced to this now. Poor guy. And then we bring in Noah Fant, great tight end. Again, I just don't know who's throwing the damn ball. I mean, Drew Lock and Noah Fant they're from the same team. Draft them in fantasy. That might go really well. Good luck. Godspeed. I think the biggest thing is the running back group. And I know Pete loves to run the ball, so he doesn't have to listen to this. This is priority what he's planning. This might be their future if they can't get a quarterback. Even if they draft someone next year and it still doesn't pan out. I mean, they still got Rashad Penny. If he can stay healthy, he had a great streak last year to end the season. Now you got Kenneth Walker. Travis Homer's always been decent. DJ Dallas showed some flashes. The running back group is pretty strong overall. And again, so are the wide receivers. It's like all the pieces are still there. They drafted an O-lineman. They got Cross. Everything is there, just not a quarterback. And it just sucks, you know? That just missing that one piece can turn potentially what looks like a great offense. And now they're really just like bottom 5. And it's just, it's hard to believe that almost just a quarterback can change that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy how things just change so drastically.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other side of the field. Outlook on the defense.
The defense has just always been kind of weird, right? Ever since the Legion of Booms moved on, it's just kind of been rotating pieces. And we've had a couple of good guys come through. Most of them have injury issues. They go out and get Jamal Adams, and he's okay. I don't think, people are calling him like one of the worst safeties in the league, brick for hands, and just, they overpaid, lost the trade, whatever. No, I don't think he's terrible. Quandre Diggs is a good safety. There's just pieces. But as a whole, the pass rush sucks. There was some decent young guys with some potential to pass rush, but there's no, especially losing Carlos Dunlap now. He's with the Chiefs. There's no reason to believe that this defense isn't going to get 30 dropped on them every game. It's always been the secondary. The corners are sketchy. They might be able to get to the quarterback once every 5 games. It's like, oh, there's the potential. There it is. And oh, nope, it's gone. No, that whatever happened in that game isn't there anymore. I just looked over to their defense because I don't even know some of the guys on their roster. Their starting strong side linebacker is Iggy Iwajabungwi. That's where we're at right now. So take that with what you will. I got really nothing going on over here. They bring in Sidney Jones. Trey Brown showed some potential at corner, but he got a pretty big injury, so who knows when he'll even be fully healthy. The young guys I liked were Alton Robinson, mainly because he was from Syracuse and I live in New York. Hell yeah. You've played pretty well. And then my other favorite guy was Darrell Taylor. He showed his flashes before his injury, and then even after the injury, he still came back and played pretty well. So, I mean, there are the potential to be good. Far from great. Extremely far.
Yeah, and Darrell Taylor's from our backyard here in Richmond, Virginia. So definitely huge shout out to Darrell Taylor. So yeah,
man.
We got
just stay healthy.
804 guys, yep. So I know one of the other 804 guys gone and Russ. Now you got, obviously Darrell Taylor's it's gonna be now, hopefully be the mainstay with you guys. But so we know we projected this team is gonna it's gonna be a long season, long 17-game season, but you gotta have some games that are circled on the calendar. You got any one or two or a few? What you got?
Oh boy. Okay, well, that was pretty easy. I had to do a little bit of refreshing because I didn't write it down. That was pretty easy. That was quick, right? It's week 1.
yeah.
I think it's just interesting because I know everyone just thinks revenge game. Russ finally gets to beat up Pete Carroll and he's going to drop 6 touchdowns, which is obviously very likely. Plus, it's prime time, and Russell Wilson loves primetime games. So that could definitely happen. But, Pete saw Russ struggle and what made him struggle. And they watched tape with Russell and they went over what he had a hard time doing, and which was cover 4. He couldn't play against it. So maybe Pete just knows the recipe to make Russell suck. And maybe he can pull that off with this defense. It's, the safeties are important. So you got Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Those are the stronger pieces of this defense. Maybe he pulls it off and they only lose by like 20. But overall, I mean, I think it's probably the most exciting game on their schedule. After that, they do go to Germany. So that's fun. They get to play Tampa over there. So German fans, I don't know if you've seen the ticket prices. Some of those folks out there are dropping like $30K for a ticket. Oh my God. So they get to pay $30K just to watch the Seahawks get blown out by like 50 points. Have fun. This is football for you. You get to watch Drew Lock. It's a really tough schedule this year, man. Like I think the overall strength of schedule wasn't terrible, but once you get down into it, like this is tough. Especially their second half. Raiders, Rams, Panthers, 49ers, Chiefs, and Jets and Rams. I might not watch football for like 2 months. Like that last stretch is gonna suck.
Yeah, might start your holiday shopping a little earlier this year.
Yeah, we're gonna check out around like week 13 after the Rams blow us up. After that, I'm probably gonna be clocked out.
Yeah, you might need to check some Ohio State and maybe some Alabama football. Maybe you see a CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
It's gonna be.
And think about
I'm gonna be doing game film there for the draft instead of watching the Seahawks play. Yeah,
right. So rounding out our preview, Dylan, and we love the transparency, So I gotta ask you the $60 million question. In 2022, the Seattle Seahawks will finish.
I had them anywhere from 4-13 to 6-11. 6-11 is the ceiling here, I believe. And I think a lot of the other predictions I've seen had them right at 5-12, which, it's right in the middle there. So, like I said, it's a pretty tough schedule. They might win one divisional game if they catch Trey Lance slacking for the Niners. I don't see them beating Arizona, even though normally they split the series. They sure as hell ain't beating the Rams anytime soon. Bobby Wagner's going to absolutely murder the entire offense. I don't know where they're getting wins. Like the Falcons in week 3. Okay, I could see that. Detroit, I don't know. There might be a good team this year. The Giants, they just lost to the Giants like 2 years ago with all of their backups in. The Giants backups, and they lost. It was like Mike Glennon, and he beat us. So I can't even guarantee that's a win. Then you got, Carolina and the Jets in that second half of the schedule. That's maybe 4 wins. And then if they take one from the Niners, there's your 5. I think you catch your 6 if you do end up splitting with Arizona somehow. That's as good as it gets.
Absolutely. So we'll put a bow on the preview. So Dylan, tell them where they can find you on social media and in any upcoming projects. What you got?
It's literally everything at OOTF podcast. You got Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Hover. If people use Hover, I know it's not too popular, but it's on there. It's literally everywhere. And then, my co-host there, Durf, we're working on some stuff that's actually, going to be dropped here. Not maybe next week's show on Thursday. We always go live Thursdays on all platforms at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. So we're going to be dropping some big news for our next project next week. So that's going to be fun. I implore everybody that might be listening to this to don't take away from this show. Watch this show first, and then you can go and check out our stuff and see what the announcement is.
Yes, absolutely. Once again, appreciate you for coming on and previewing the Seattle Seahawks. And we'll catch you guys on the next preview, and we're out.